Well, here we are at the Tuck-In in Dalston for this week's edition of G-Man. G-Man Talks Boxing, number 5. Now, Rocky 5 was a heavyweight fight between Dolph Lundgren and Sylvester Stallone. That was what Rocky 5 was about. So let's look at this weekend's Rocky fight, which is a Samoan Maori New Zealander versus Anthony Joshua. What's your views, G-Man, coming into this great big weekend for British boxing? World boxing.
Listen, this is the most interesting thing for a long time. You know, the champion is getting himself in a situation to fight, to just make this thing his own situation. This thing is going to be, this is just a stepping stone. The next move will be Wilder, and after Wilder, then there'll be Tyson Fury. Every man and his dog will feel somewhere along the line that he has to be part of this situation. But you know what? The champion is a champion. That's why we have champions. That's why when you see the Cuban guy against Wilder, you realize why Wilder is a champion and he is not a champion. He's a good fighter, but he's not a champion. The same with Parker. He's going to be a good fighter, but he's not a champion. This is what defines a champion. A champion is a champion.
Now, the Samoan people,
bless them all,
Samoan people who obviously make fantastic rugby players. They've all dominated rugby for, you know, many a year. Fighting-wise, they've had David Chua, and they do have a pedigree as heavyweights.
Sure.
This guy Parker, right? What are his attributes in your opinion? What does he bring to this fight that could disturb Joshua?
You know, he's actually in good condition. When you look at his work rate is great, but he's a boxer. He boxes. He doesn't really bring that fear. There's no fear factor there as such. He's gonna doesn't even set traps. But you know, he's competent. Like I said, he's a good fighter. But in my opinion, he's not a champion.
So he's not a champion, but he has one thing, according to his promoters, who have made it very clear, that apparently he has a very good chin, which obviously is important. And it's probably good to say that that chin will be tested. What's your views on chins and how important?
I'm glad the promoter said that he's got a good chin, because somewhere along the line, you've got to have some kind of definition in a fight, what you're good at. And if his chin is that good, it will be tested. It will be tested.
Well, it's going to be tested. I mean, Joshua's had 20 wins out of 20, all by knockout or technical knockout. I think Parker's had 24. He's had a few on points. He beat Hughie Fury. A bit of a lackluster fight, to be honest, but, you know, Fury's a good spoiler, isn't he?
You know, the thing about it, we saw a fantastic competition with Wilder and the Cuban guy. That was what you call good heavyweight fights. But he didn't have Joshua. Joshua is excited. He comes at you. And that's what you want. You want to see a good old-fashioned tear-up, not some Mickey Mouse nonsense. So this is what makes it good. Parker is going to be cagey and moving around and this and that, and the champion is going to be chasing after him and trying to get to tear his head off and break his ribs up. And this is what we want to see as fans. What we want to see. We want to see people involved, not tic-tac, involved, get involved. And I think that's what we're going to see on Saturday.
Now, Mr. Dillon White, he boxed last weekend and he stopped a very poor Lucas Brown, who, to be quite honest, just looked like a nightclub bouncer who'd done a bit of boxing.
Agreed.
So he could only beat what was put in front of him, but he was obviously very excited by his victory and he started calling out the other heavyweights.
You'd have thought he just knocked out Mike Tyson.
Well, yeah, but he didn't.
But, you know, that's his duty, and his duty is to get rid of what's in front of him. And he did. Let's put it right.
He did. But he's talking Wilder. How do you see that one happening, one? And if so, what's going to happen?
You know, listen, who he should be calling out is Chisora, because he's got unfinished business with Chisora. That's who he should be calling out. Because for the simple reason that that's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. We want to see that return.
Okay, so there's a Chisora return. But if he were to fight Wilder, if he were to fight Wilder. A lot of people are saying that Wilder would have far too much for Dillon White. What's your views on that?
Well, I think it'd be a stinker.
Really?
Yeah, I think it'd be a stinker.
How so?
You know, I think Dillon has improved tremendously, but at the same time, I don't really think that he's quite ready yet. Give him another year or so, and you know, he's got some little things to clean up.
Right. Now, the British heavyweight scene is in quite good nick generally. There's about 40-something ranked fighters, which is more than ever was. There's a load of inactive ones. I mean, in the British rankings, David Haye's not in there, Bellew's not in there, Tyson Fury's not in there because they've all been inactive, so they're not in the ratings. Until they fight, they ain't going to be in the ratings.
Well, you know,
you got four youngsters coming through, which is Dubois, Nick Webb, Gorman, and this young guy from Ipswich who's only been boxing a year and a half. His name's Fabio Wardley, and he looks quite promising. He's 6'5", he moves very well. So, of those four, my question is this. I'm not going to ask you who's the best prospect, because I'm not going to ask you that. That's not fair.
You can ask me.
Well, I won't ask you. But what I am going to ask you, right, is how long, for those four boys, when should they step up and start fighting the British top six?
Well,
Basically,
you know,
say Gorman to start off with.
You know, Gorman looks the best so far, as in, you know, the new faces, the unseen faces. You know, we got the other guy who's, you know, Dubois. You know, he's already there. And then you got Gorman holding on to his shirt tail. But listen, boxing is going to be big in the next 2 years in London. It's going to be massive. So we got a lot of time on our side right now. Don't be hasty.
So that's the four prospects I'm looking out for.
Sure.
Not in any order, which is Webb, Dubois, Gorman and Wardley. Those are the four that I see can make some sort of impact.
Sure.
Right. But we must turn our attention to the other heavyweight fight on the bill, and that's our old friend David Price, who's got a shock chance to box Povetkin and to actually gate crash the world number 5, the world's number 5, because if he beats Povetkin, who's ranked number 2 or 3 in BoxRec rankings, well, I mean, you know, the sky's the limit for the man.
Listen, you always have to believe pigs can fly. You always, David Price, big 6'7" guy, strong as an ox, confidence is a bit low, but you know, confidence of the thing can go up and down. It's been low for quite a while. This is an opportunity for him. Please do not write him off. This is his opportunity. Pigs can fly.
Well, he was an Olympic Games medalist.
Yeah.
He's 6'7". He has a great amateur pedigree. He hasn't cut it as a pro, mainly because he's been found wanting in the chin department. I am 100%. You've seen Povetkin, right? You know what he's about, right? I am going to ask you, with no sitting on the fence, what is your prediction for this fight? And it doesn't make any difference. There's no politics to worry about. What is your prediction for this contest?
I like Povetkin. Povetkin comes out there and he wants to tear your head off. David Price can dig. It's just that he can't move his feet. He can't get his head out of the way. We know David Price, he doesn't take a shot very well. But you know what? He has a puncher's chance.
Does he have enough of a puncher's chance to unsettle?
Oh, sure. Oh, sure.
So in your opinion, it's a pick'em?
No.
No?
It's who wants it.
Well, let's say they both want it.
That's what it's qualified.
Right. So once again, you sat on the fence.
Not really. Not really. This is an opportunity for David Price to be the Price man. This is the time for Povetkin to come out there and to push himself.
I've got to tell you though, I saw David Price in his last fight, right, up in Brentwood, and he claimed that he needed the rounds and all that. You know, he was so unconvincing against tentative against a very poor opponent. Myself, I'm going to say straight out, I'm going for Povetkin to finish it within 4 rounds. That's my prediction. He's far too, you know, the guy's a proper fighter. He might be 37, 38, but he's got no big wear and tear. He can bang, he can box. His only problem is that he's 6'2" and he finds it difficult against the bigger men. Maybe that's what gives Price a chance. I don't know. But I'm going for Povetkin inside 4 rounds. Final comment, G-Man. Are you looking forward to this weekend and the whole show?
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Right, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, next week, see you soon.